Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Dobyns. So I think right around this time that you were doing this investigation, I'm not quite sure, but I'm from Connecticut. There's Hell's Angels that live around this area, and a Hell's Angels got killed off his bike. His name was Bear. He got shot. He was from Bridgeport. He got shot on the highway. A van slid the door open and they shot him right off his bike and he got murdered. And I remember when that happened. Do you remember around that time?
Well, you know what, that gangland life and that those types of events, and with, like when you're living in that world, that's not fantasy. That's not Hollywood, right? That's not a television show. That's real life. Those kind of things happen, and there's gang wars out there, and in biker land. The Hell's Angels are the king of the mountain. They are like they're the biker gang that everybody knows, everybody recognizes, everybody aspires to be. They have this massive history and following and cult following, and that so they like that reputation creates enemies. It creates jealousy. It creates rivalries and adversaries. And man, so if you're living in that life, like you've got a target on your back.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? That's no secret to the people that live in that world. You want to put that patch on your back, you're also putting a target on your back.
Yeah.
For all the people that don't like the set you're with.
Yeah.
And to law enforcement.
Yeah, law enforcement and your enemies, both. You're running from both. Not running from them, but you're putting a target for both of them, right?
Well, you know, there's I found humor in it. I don't know if anybody else thinks it's funny. I was in a situation where there was some traditional organized crime, mafia, La Cosa Nostra guys present with some Hell's Angels, and the mob guy said, "You know what the difference is between you and us?" And like I'm waiting for the answer too. And the mob guy says, "We don't wear fucking suits that say the mob on the back. We don't fucking advertise who we are."
Yeah, it's true.
So you know what? Like you want to be like with the Hell's Angels or with any outlaw motorcycle gang, you put that cut on. And you're putting your flash on it and your street name or your moniker or your title, your position, all those things, your rockers that say where you're from, man, you're telling everybody this is who I am. This is who I'm with.
So this is a major question, right? Because there's a lot of people out there who ride motorcycles who are not aware of the motorcycle organized crime aspect. So just because they're in a motorcycle club, even the Hells Angels, have you come across people who are not involved with criminal activity?
Absolutely. And I've never publicly or privately tried to claim that let me back up a little bit. My point of reference is the Hells Angels, right? So there's all these other motorcycle clubs and gangs out there, right? So, but I've never said at any point that every Hells Angel is a murderer or a rapist or a drug dealer or a gun runner or an extortionist or an arsonist. I crossed paths with dudes who were members who weren't involved in criminal activity, like weren't actively involved in it, right?
Yeah.
People around them might have been, their organization might have been, but they individually were not out there like looking to either do things wrong or looking to like roll into some spot and start caving people's heads in. That's a myth. That's an urban legend that every guy that's wearing a patch is out there looking to do nasty work. That's not true.
Yeah, I want to make sure people out there know that they're all not criminals. So there's only I don't know the amount, but there's a small few, and there's some that are law-abiding citizens, and they don't go that route.
So Staxx, like, let's translate that same attitude into law enforcement, right? So, because I don't care if you're doctors or lawyers or if you're school teachers or used car salesmen or cops or bikers, you put a group of people together, nobody fits. It's not like everybody fits under the same umbrella. So people look at biker gangs and like every single cat that's wearing that vest is a murderer, right?
Yeah.
Or a drug dealer or whatever. Not true.
There's some way involved with something negative,
but the
right?
same thing goes, like, when the negative publicity comes around law enforcement. There's cops that are out there that do bad things. There's bad apples. There's cops that have been involved in criminal activity. That like not every cop like lives that lifestyle. Not every cop has that attitude. So it's universal. Like, what we do as society is we take the few extreme stories and then we try to paint everybody that's within that world with the same brush, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, just like me, I have a criminal past, right? I was in and out of prison a lot of times. I was addicted to drugs. That's not who I am anymore. You know what I mean? That's who I was.
I think that you're a shining example of that, and I know other people that are as well, that I admire, like that were going down a bad path, or that had, put themselves in a bad position. Who we were is not necessarily who we are.
Yeah. So now you're 15 years into this career, and have you noticed any of the officers that you had contact with? Have you noticed any of them doing any illegal activity?
I crossed paths with cops who are corrupt cops. That I don't I try to answer my questions, tell the stories of my experience, like, straight down the middle, right? So did I cross paths with corrupt cops? Yeah, I did. Did I cross paths with cops who were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, had attitudes they shouldn't have had? I did. And you know what? Some of them are locked up for like a long ass time too. And that's where they deserve to be.
Especially when they take an oath to do a certain job, and then they it's crazy.
Staxx, I'll tell you this. This has always been my attitude towards dirty cops or corrupt cops. And again, a very, very small percentage of that profession like falls into that category. But you know what? You want to be a gangster? You want to sell drugs? You want to do illegal things? Man, go do it. Go take your shot. Go try to make your fortune. But don't hide behind a badge to do it.
Yeah, and they use the power of the police force to do their bidding, basically. Some of them.
You know what? We can list those stories, man. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, from north, south, east, and west, of stories of cops who use their badge and their position and their influence to conduct criminal activity, and that is shameful. And when they get caught and when they get prosecuted and convicted, just like anybody else, man, they got it coming, except it's worse. Like I said, man, you want to go be a gangster? Go be a gangster. Just don't hide behind your badge to do it.
So during your 15 years, right, have you ever come across a situation where you're like, man, you probably shouldn't be doing that?
Yeah, when I was in Chicago. I was running next to a guy who, at the time, real time, it wasn't necessarily making sense to me what he was doing. In hindsight, And after more information was revealed, this cat was running a full-on drug ring, right? And so some of the things he was doing at the time seemed appropriate, but they weren't. He was serving this criminal mission he was on. We were making arrests of drug dealers, right? So that's what we're supposed to do, right? On the surface, it appeared straight up. We were running warrants on dope houses, which on the surface is what we were supposed to be doing. Only after the fact did I find out the drug dealers we were arresting were competition to his organization. The search warrants we were running were competition to his organization. So he was using his influence, his knowledge, his power to gain insider information and to eliminate the competition. That dude's breaking. He never see the light of day.